and welcome to the bond with nature. So, for centuries, Alaska's unforgiving terrain has posed one major problem. How do you get around? And we can do that by talking about the Huskies, the Alaskan Huskies, which had descended from the Siberian Huskies. And so the reason why they are perfect for that environment is they have a very thick double coat and they are used to being in the brutal cold. They can survive on those tundras of just ice, harsh weather. And while they have tireless energy, they are perfect for pulling a sled filled with cargo that needs to go the distance. So imagine a whole team of Huskies. They are expertly trained when they are working together, and they haul crucial supplies. Let's think of mail or food across huge, vast landscapes that are frozen solid. They weren't just working animals. These Huskies were lifelines into a land where other forms of transportation just were not viable. You see, some say that the term musher comes from a French word, which means to walk. And this may have been a term used because originally there were French explorers who were fur traders in North America, and they actually used the dog sleds in order to help them with their trade. Canadians then later adopted the term, and the term mush became a command to get the dogs harnessed to a sled to get moving. Now, the human leader then became the musher. So they were the caretaker of the trainer of the dog. They were responsible for not only the training, but also food, shelter, and making sure that they understood that they were part of a pack. Around the 1970s, the Alaskan woman, Linda Sperlin, actually loved Huskies so much, but she needed a dog which could live indoors. And this gave rise to the Alaskan Klee. Now, you cannot just shrink a dog, but this was for someone who loved all of the aspects of a Husky, but needed something smaller and more compact. So it has the characteristics of the crossbred dog, but it did lose some of the other characteristics of an Alaskan Husky. So it could be part Siberian Husky, part Alaskan Husky, part American Eskimo dog, part Schipperkes. The goal was basically to optimize a healthy dog with an excellent temperament that was perfect and trainable for living indoors, but still intelligent and physically fit, but also smaller. So this means that the Klee breed got a chance to be a dog and to be a piece of Alaska. So with the spirit of adventure, you also can own a dog of this breed. It's distinctive, it's distinguished, and it's just like a Husky, but it's great for people who have apartments or are space constrained. The Klee dog bred, it met the need of a smaller dog because if you need to pull a heavy sled, you get a Husky. If you want a companion who can sprint and train and have the ability of a Husky, but less vocal than a Husky, then you get a Klee. So let's get some more wisdom of a Klee breeder. Kika's Klee of Southern California has actually produced some show quality dogs. This means that they have been well behaved and bred to meet the points of a standard during competition. Desiree has had experience with the UKC's Top 10 competition in Michigan, and she's previously served on the board of directors of the UAKKA. She's served on the Breed Club as president, and she has also shown dogs in the UAKKA. And that, by the way, stands for the United Alaskan Klee Association. And the AKKAOK stands for the Alaskan Klee Association of America. So you can reach either of those groups by going to akkkaob.org or akkaaoa.org/FAQ. So let's get to know why this particular breed is so outstanding and how we can unlock a world of connecting both with nature and also with people. Here we can meet Desiree. We'll be right back after a short break in order to have an interview with Desiree. Welcome back. So while we were on break, had the fantastic opportunity to dial in and meet with Desiree. Desiree, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
I wanted to ask you, since we've been talking about these amazing breeds that are growing in Southern California, I wanted to ask you if you could tell me a little bit more about that trigger, that event that made you decide that this was going to be your business.
Absolutely. So to begin with, we actually had large Huskies
Right.
prior to us having children, and then found an Alaskan Klee at Home Depot, of all places,
Home
and fell in
Depot,
love.
the home improvement store.
The home improvement store. Somebody was inside with this little, we thought a Husky at the time. This was back in 2002, and fell in love instantly and got on a waiting list with our breeder, Andrea Hayes, and took us 2 years to get a puppy because this breed is pretty rare, and fell in love. We knew we wanted to breed and get more involved in the breed because nobody knew about them, and just how emotional these dogs are and how much they love their owners. We just fell in love, and so
what
went crazy from there.
What characteristics about this breed that attracted you? Because obviously a Husky's much bigger. I always think of colder climates. You're in Southern California, so what characteristics does the Klee have that a Husky doesn't, or that any other dog hasn't?
Sure. Actually, they do have a lot of characteristics of the Husky, their native family, but they're in a smaller package. So they're easier to take everywhere with us. They're easier to groom because they're smaller. And Huskies really want to roam and are more independent. And Alaskan Klee is your best friend. They don't want you to ever leave them. So they're the best companion for people, especially COVID. I mean, that was amazing because everyone's home. So they just want to be with their humans all of the time. And I was so attracted to that, working from home, even way back in 2004, having little kids. It was just the perfect fit for our family because smaller package, easier to throw in the car, want to be everywhere with you, love to be outdoors.
So when
less dog hair.
So are you saying that they shed less than a regular Husky?
Well, I wouldn't say that they shed less. However, they're smaller, so there's going to be less hair just because they're smaller.
Scaled down issues. I see. So have you by any chance, and I don't mean to pry if this is not appropriate, but have you ever shown your dogs in a competition?
We have.
Oh,
We've
you
actually
have?
traveled. Yeah, we've traveled all over the United States.
Wow.
And shown our dogs. So it's been a lot of fun, although we haven't done it in several years. But yes, starting in 2004 all the way to 2012, we competed. We were in top 10. Even my kids were junior handlers for the United Kennel Club and went to Michigan with us. And we all got to go on airplanes. And yeah, so it's a lot of fun.
How is their temperament? Because a dog show is usually really stressful and you have so many distractions going around with the other competitors and travel and all that. How sturdy were those dogs?
Well, I will say some are better than others. And it takes a lot of training for anybody to put a dog into a dog show. Because like you said, there's just a lot of stress, a lot of things going on. They have to get along with everybody. They can't fight the judge, all of that stuff. However, we've had some of the top show dogs in the country. Really? And I think a lot of that has to do with their upbringing. We had young kids at the time, and so they were very social. You know, our kids were in sports, so they were used to going to the dog parks. They were used to going to the skate parks. They were used to going to the ball fields. So that really played a big part. If this breed is socialized, they will love everybody and run up to everybody.
You're the breeder, so you would be the one that would educate the new owner.
Exactly.
But do you have a certain size category, or do they have size categories like, poodles do, that they have a wide range?
Yeah, definitely they do. There's actually 3 sizes: toy, miniature, and standard.
Okay.
And a lot of people will hear standard and think, oh, that's a full-size Husky, but it's not. They're actually pretty small. A standard is usually 20, 25 pounds at the most. And our standards go off of the actual height of the dog, not the weight.
Okay.
So a standard is 15 to 17 and a half inches tall. And that's at the top of their withers, which is the top of their shoulders.
And which breed size do you focus on, or do you do them all?
We do all 3 sizes. However, we try to stay away from the toys as much as possible, just because they're pretty small and they don't really resemble what the Alaskan Klee represents.
They look more like teddy bears, or what?
No, they just look too small, maybe not proportionate enough. You know, you'll hear people randomly say, is that dog mixed with the Chihuahua? You know, random little things like that. So when you just look at the appearance, you don't want a bug-eyed, yappy, snippy dog in the Alaskan Klee. You know, so you want them to look at this breed and think, wow, is that a Husky puppy? You know, and be shocked whenever they find out it's a full-size purebred breed. But they do have a double coat, and that serves 2 purposes. It'll keep them warm in the winter, and it'll keep them cool in the summer. So you never want to shave a double-coated dog, ever. Okay. A lot of people have that mistake, but yeah, so it serves 2 purposes. And they do shed during the summertime. Usually it's twice a year, and they will blow that undercoat, and then their new coat will come out. So
you just give them a good wire brush to make sure in the summer?
Yeah, I mean, it's not necessarily a wire brush, but certain brushes will help pull that undercoat out, and promote the growth of the new undercoat.
Got it. And
they want their owners right there.
Are they good candidates for therapy, emotional support dogs?
Absolutely.
And welcome back to The Bond. Have you ever known anyone that's taken one of your dogs to train them for that?
I don't know personally. I have heard that some Klee have been trained for that, but I don't know any that came specifically from me. But I do know that they are out there.
Well, in general, what sort of life lessons do you think that this breeding experience and starting this business and getting your loyal following, what has it sort of taught you, if you want to share any pearls of wisdom with our viewers?
Yeah, I mean, definitely one of the most important things I think is just learning from our failures. As a breeder, nothing's perfect. You know, you say, okay, we're going to breed these 2 together and we're hoping for the best outcome. And it doesn't always happen. You know, sometimes the most beautiful dogs won't produce the best quality dog, or will have a health concern or something to be dealing with. And it really has taught us that in life, nothing's perfect and nothing is always going to go your way. But with your failures comes success. If you pay attention and you realize what's going on, what's right, what's wrong, what's worked, what hasn't worked, it's really going to change your life for the better. My daughter's in nursing school right now, and my daughter's 24. She's been around me breeding and raising dogs for 22 years. It just really has encouraged a lot of families to be more active and spend more time outdoors and not be cooped up in the house, because let's be real, a lot of times, unfortunately, we're busy and kids don't play outside anymore. You know,
exactly.
Everyone's indoors on a video game.
Right.
So this is forcing a lot of families to say, okay, let's go. We're going to go. You ride your bike. We're going to take the dog. And so it's changed a lot of people's lives. They're definitely great for people with children or not with children, but also for retired families that are active. Like, if you have health issues or you're not active, maybe not so much. But if you're retired and you have an RV and you travel and you want to go all over the place, perfect breed. perfect breed.
Well, switching gears a little bit, what are your thoughts about the folklore, or is there any link to the Inuit people or the Eskimos, which I know that they have some experience with Huskies and mushing and whatnot, but what do you know about that as far as Klee? Because isn't it sort of an Alaskan breed? So
Yeah, so actually the breed was developed in Alaska on accident.
On accident, okay.
On accident, and so Linda Sperlin is the creator of the Alaskan Klee, and it was an accidental breeding. Her dog got pregnant between a Husky.
We can be confidential about those details.
Okay,
give them some privacy.
Okay, but so they aren't necessarily that closely related to Eskimos and those
the Inuit people.
The Inuit people for sure. Only based on just dogs in general, absolutely, because the Inuit people. I guess the dog is super important to their culture, and they rely on those dogs for so many things, whether it's transportation or hunting and companionship, especially when they have these weathers. But the Alaskan Klee themselves, the name was developed from the creator of the breed because she did live in Alaska at that time, but she did move out to Washington later on. So not necessarily related.
But what's unique about them, I think, is their markings. Don't they have a sort of a unique patterned coat, almost like they're wearing a saddle, very similar to the Husky? But
yes, so they're definitely, they have a double banded coat. So the colors that come down on the coat, individual hairs, is 2 or sometimes 3 different bands of color. And so that's why you'll see there's a lot of variations. You'll see a lot of variations in the grays and the light reds. Some of the darker blacks are pretty consistent because the band of hair is all one color. So yeah, that's why you'll see multiple colors and variations of shades of gray and red. And so, yeah, it's definitely unique.
How
we can get all double blues. We can get one eye blue, one eye brown. We can get 2 green eyes. We can get one eye. Yeah, we can get one eye that has 2 colors in it. It's called a party eye.
Party eye?
And it's a party. Yes, and the Huskies are very similar. They can create the same thing. I brace them for separation anxiety.
Okay.
It's one of the biggest because this breed is a companion breed. They want to be with you all of the time.
Okay.
And if you think that you have the best fit because you work from home, you're actually probably the worst because you're always home and you don't teach your puppy how to self-soothe. So if your puppy never has alone time, they're never going to learn to be independent and they will have major separation anxiety. So our biggest focus is teaching our puppy owners that, look, they definitely thrive with a routine, structure, and alone time.
We've talked about a lot of interesting characteristics of the dog. What characteristics are there in an ideal human owner besides consistency? Sure.
Active, obviously, and somewhat responsible, and have routines. If you're all over the place, then it's going to be difficult. If you're not very organized and you leave things all over the place, your puppy's going to get into everything. So idealistically, if you have structure in your life and you are active, somebody who is not gone 12, 14 hours a day is going to be best suited for this breed. They're fine being alone 2, 3, 4 hours a day, but for a family with nobody home for 8, 10, 12 hours, it's not going to be the best fit because this breed needs companionship.
How do you touch base with them? Do you reach out to the owner like a week after, a month after, to sort of see how they're doing, if they have any questions, or is it just once the dog is passed over, then that sale's done and go on from there?
Oh no. So our puppy owners are pretty much our family. We've built huge relationships with the majority of them. In fact, we have an annual puppy reunion for our puppies. It's huge.
So
lifelong.
Do any of your customers show dogs? I mean, I know you have, but have any of them? Oh, really? So do they ask you advice on how do I compete or what to expect, or?
what they do more than anything is not like competition for showing structurally. It's more of like agility or fly ball.
Wrap up in our last minute or so. Would you be able to just help our viewers understand the resources that you do offer?
First thing is that you would go to our website, which is Kika's Klee, and I understand that it's very difficult to understand. But when I created this breed, this website, it was because Kika was our first dog, and I didn't think Kika's Klee would be hard. But anyways, so it's Kika's Klee.
So Kika was the name of your first dog. That is so adorable.
Yeah, she's my first one, and now we always get that. What is it again? I'm sorry. Anyhow, so you would go to our website. We have an actual questionnaire on our website that you would fill out if you were interested in getting a puppy from us, and then we review that. And we would.
You have your YouTube channel.
We have our YouTube channel, which is
think.
also Kika's Klee. We have Instagram, and we have a brand new puppy course that we are getting ready to launch, Klee Unleashed. And that is really geared for our puppy owners, because we just want to educate our puppy owners so that they build this amazing bond with their puppies, and they have a lifelong history of just amazing companionship. And I feel like it's something that our breed is missing. Anybody can go get a puppy course, but to know what the temperament and the expectation and the personality is of the breed that you just got, I think it's so important. And so,
well, especially from the breeder directly, right?
Yeah, so we're working on that, and we're getting ready to launch that here in the next week. But we're on all social media. Yeah, so it's super exciting.
Well, thank you so much, Desiree. I really appreciate the time that you took to help us understand how owning a Klee can help you bond with nature, and also how you have offered so many wonderful resources to get people to connect with nature. And that's what's really important, is being able to get out there and really understand that there's beauty all around you. So thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me.
And we'll be right back after this little break. And welcome back. So we learned from that interview that the Klee make excellent companions if you cannot accommodate a full-size dog, and also if you need something that's a little less vocal than a Husky, and also if you need something that can be perfect for smaller spaces like an apartment. But also, this mini Husky is just as intelligent, with a great temperament for families, and they will love being part of your loving family. Their energy will keep you fit, and you can transform a simple walk into an adventure. So you may fall in love with 100 different breeds of dogs, and I know you cannot own them all, but that's okay, because here's another option. You can volunteer at your local dog shelter, and there you can offer to take a dog for a walk or help care in some other form. This way you can experience many different breeds while also helping out your local community. And it's also time that you can spend outdoors, which we all know reduces stress, improves your mood, and boosts your creativity. But let's go ahead and talk about how spending time in nature with your dog isn't just routine, but it's about bonding with your dog, and also bonding with the nature that's around you when you're on your walk. It's about reducing stress, boosting your connection with the wonders of the natural world. So if you're looking for a breed and you don't know if the Klee is really perfect for you, and let's say you have different needs. So if you happen to have a need for a very powerful dog who pulls heavy objects by sled in the wintry climate, maybe you want an Alaskan Malamute. Let's say you want a dog who excels at long distance sledding with strong endurance, well, then you'll want a Husky, either a Siberian Husky or an Alaskan Husky. And if you want a friendly, playful Spitz type of dog for various climates, you can consider the Alaskan Eskimo dog or a Schipperke, which I don't know if I'm pronouncing that properly, but that's my best try. These are smaller than Huskies, and they're great for other climates and active families, but they are not bred to pull a sled. So don't load them up with anything. But if you want something playful, social, and a designer dog breed, you might want to think about a Pomsky. This might be a good choice because it's a mix of that fluffy Pomeranian with the loyal, energetic, thick coat of a Siberian Husky. So remember, not all Pomskys are good for cold weather, even though they're very fluffy. But if you want a Husky-looking dog, but smaller for your apartment or a single family house that doesn't have a big backyard, then I think the perfect companion for you to consider would be the Klee. It's the perfect little package of all of the elements that you love about the Husky or some of the bigger, more adventurous dogs, but more compact. So the lessons that a Klee can teach us will help us foster a deeper bond, which we can use with our human relationships as well as our dog relationships. If you see a butterfly along your walk, then that would be a fun topic to discuss with family and friends about how you and your Klee interacted with this flittering butterfly. You see, we can have all sorts of refreshing perspectives on nature when we're with our loyal companion. It's a fresh view of life, and having someone that's adoring us at our sides, like a Klee, makes the world just a better place. So take that first step outside, breathe in that crisp, fresh air, and explore to develop new connections. Thank you so much for joining me today as we learned about the Klee, and I look forward to when we bond again. So until then, until we bond again,